Good morning, everyone. We're back at From Heroes to Icons. This is Jason, and today we are covering the comic books coming out for December 11th, 2019. We're running a little late this week, and I believe that the must-have comic book list will most likely be pushed to either every Friday or every Saturday for the next month or so due to some personal issues. But this video will come out. This week was a really, really great week for just news and stuff like that and pop culture. We got a Black Widow trailer, which was phenomenal, a James Bond trailer, which was just as great. And I went crazy on Black Friday. Oh man, I got like 55 books. But and the deluge of Wonder Woman 750 covers have just come out. J. Scott Campbell with his I think he has 3 or 4 different covers, and I think there's like 6, 10, something like that, regular covers. But we got to make sure exactly what we're spending our money on. I was really enthusiastic when the Art Germ cover came out, but after the J. Scott Campbell covers came out and then they showed the rest of the covers, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And Bitterroot is coming back around about February with issue number 6, and its cover B is a homage to Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, and it's a really, really stunning looking cover. Perfect to be slabbed. So let's get on with these books. I guess you have waited long enough. As always, we're going to start off, well, not always, but today. We're going to start off with DC Comics with Batman and the Outsiders number 8 by Brian Hill and Dexter Soy. Cover A is by Tyler Kirkham, and cover B is by Kevin Nolan. One of my favorite books of 2019, Batman Curse of the White Knight number 5, written, drawn, and both covers by Sean Murphy. And I believe he tweeted something that Batman Beyond he's doing, so I guess he's starting his 3rd series of this Batman White Knight series. Should be pretty dope. Batman's Grave number 3 by Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch. Cover A is by Brian Hitch, and Ji Hung Lee is doing cover B. Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child by Frank Miller and Raphael Grandpa. Raphael Grandpa is doing cover A and cover B. Joel Jones is doing cover C, and Raphael Grandpa is doing cover D. And there are 2 other incentive covers. One I know is by Adam Kubert, and that's way, way expensive, and it's not shown here. Detective Comics 1017 by Tom Taylor and Fernando Blanco. Cover A is by Tony Daniels, and cover B is by Josh Middleton. Far Sector number 2 by N.K. Jemisin and Jamal Campbell, and that has 1 cover, and that is by Jamal Campbell. Flash 100-page Giant number 2, so if you're interested in that. I haven't picked up any of those. And somebody said that they were buying those, and after they read them, they just put them out for everybody to read. I think I might start grabbing those. It might be really good for the kids to have, just for like something to knock around to read. Flash 84 by Joshua Williamson and Christian Deuce. Rafa Sandoval is doing cover A. I'll be glad when he's back on the pencils for that. And cover B is by Kenneth Rackerford. Ruby by Rooster Teeth. Number 3 by Margaret Bennett and Mirka Andolfo. Cover A is by Sarah Stone, and cover B is Weiss, the White Witch, by Stanley Art Germ Lau. Superman 18, I guess he is telling on himself, by Brian Michael Bendis, Joe Potter, and Ivan Reyes. Reyes and Prado is doing cover A, and Scon is doing cover B. Tales of the Dark Multiverse, The Judas Contract, number 1, by Kyle Higgins and Tom Raney, and Lee Weeks is doing the cover for that. Next up, we have Image Comics. We have Gideon Falls number 19 by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. Sorrentino is doing cover A, and Fabio Moon is doing cover B. New book from Image Comics, Lucy Claire Redemption, number 1, drawn, written, and covers by John Upchurch. I will definitely be grabbing that book and both covers. Looks very interesting. Love werewolves anyway. Oblivion Song 22 by Robert Kirkman, Lorenzo de la Fece. Guess I kind of dropped that book. Reaver number 6 by Justin Jordan and Rebecca Isaacs. Book seems pretty good. Drop that too. Undiscovered Country number 2 by Charles Soule, Scott Snyder, and Giuseppe Camacoli. The end of that book was pretty dope, so we're going to stick with that. For our independent books, we have Buffy Angel Hellmouth number 3 by Jodi Belair and Eleonora Carlini. Cover A is by Jenny Frison, and cover B is by Jacob Rebelka. Rye number 2 from Valiant by Dan Abnett and Juan Jose Rip. Cover A is by Kyle New. Cover B is by Dave Johnson, and cover C is by Adam Polina. Something is Killing the Children number 4 by James Tinian and Weather Del Idara. Del Idara is doing cover A. Mike Walsh is doing cover B, and cover C is the FOC variant. Big book of this week for the indies, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 100, and this has a slew of covers. I'm only covering like 6, and this is by Tom Waltz, Kevin Eastman, and Dave Watcher. Cover A is by Watcher, cover B is by Clayton Crane, cover C is by Kevin Eastman, cover D is by Johnny Desjardins, cover E is a 1 in 25 variant by Freddie Williams III, and cover F is one of the Midtown exclusives by Ed McGuinness. Lastly, here we have Marvel, continuing with Annihilation one-shots. We have Annihilation Battery Bill number 1 by Michael Marici and Alberto Albuquerque. Cover A is by Jose Maria Casanovas, and cover B is by Patrick Zurcher. Annihilation Silver Surfer number 1 by Dan Abnett and Paul Davidson. Cover A, I think these covers connect. These cover A's of the Annihilation is by Jose Maria Casanovas, and cover B is by Oscar Wildemer. Black Panther Agents of Wakanda number 4 by Jim Zub and Lan Medina. Jorge Medina is doing cover A, and Pasquale Fury is doing cover B. Captain America number 17, The Scourge Has Returned by Tanase Coates and Jason Masters, and I'm only showing one cover for that, and that is by Alex Ross. Captain Marvel 13, The Last Avenger continues as with Kelly Thompson and Lee Garbett. Mark Brooks is giving us cover A. Inhuck Lee continues his connecting covers for cover B, and Josh Cassara gives us cover C for the Venom Island variant. Doom 2099 number 1 by Chip Zdarsky and Marco Castello. This has 3 covers, but I'm only showing this one, and this is a incentive variant of some such, and that is by Max Fumara. Fallen Angels number 3 by Brian Edward Hill and Simon Kruganski, and I believe Kruganski is doing the one cover for that. Fantastic Four number 17 by Dan Slott and Sean Isaacs. Cover A is by Nick Bradshaw. The 2020 variant is by Kofam, and cover C is the Venom Island variant. Ghost Rider number 3 by Ed Brisson and Juan Figuera. Cover A is by Aaron Cooter, and cover B is a design variant by Aaron Cooter. The Immortal Hulk number 28 by Al Ewing and Tom Riley. Alex Ross is doing cover A. Dale Keown is doing cover B, which is a 2020 variant, and Tyler Kirkham is doing cover C. Miles Morales 13 by Saladin Ahmed and Have Garin. Garin is doing cover A. Raza is doing the 2020 variant for cover B, and cover C is a Venom Island variant. Morbius number 2 by Vita Ayala and Marcelo Ferreira. Cover A is by Ryan Brown. Cover B is by Juan Jose Rip, and cover C is by E.M. Geist. New Mutants number 3 by Ed Brisson and Marco Falla. I think I'm dropping almost all of these X titles, except for maybe X-Men, Excalibur, and then I'll be picking up Wolverine in the new year. Savage Sword of Conan, number 12. I did not write down the artist and the writer for that, Rushing, but cover A is by Dave Wilkins, and cover B is by Patrick Zurcher. Buying Conan anyway. Spider-Man 2099, number 1 by Nick Spencer and Jose Carlos Silva. Victor Bondanovic is doing cover A. Ron Lim is doing cover B, and cover C is by Travel Foreman. Spider-Verse number 3 by Ryan North and Carly Henson, and that has 1 cover. Strike Force number 4 by Tiny Howard and German Peralta, and that also has 1 cover. Just following that, waiting for the Spider-Woman to come out next year. Big book from Marvel with a gazillion covers, and how we really love it this time. Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality, number 1 by Peter David and Greg Land. Greg Land is doing cover A, and Arthur Adams continues his wonderful looking connecting covers for cover B. And all the rest of the covers are Young Guns covers. First we have Aaron Cooter, and then Marco Cicchetto and Russell Dodderman. Cover F is by Pepe Larraz. Then we have a cover by Mike Del Mundo, Javier Garin. Alex Savak is doing that incentive cover, which I think is a rip from an old Amazing Spider-Man. And then we have a black blank variant cover for that. I believe that's it. Got a few True Believers this week. Fantastic Four Annihilus, which they're putting number 1. I don't know the significance of that book. A True Believers Man Wolf in Space, and a True Believers Nova number 1, which is obviously the origin of Richard Rider. Valkyrie number 6, which I think I've only bought 1 issue of this, and I'm gonna catch up and buy the rest because Kafu is hot. And this is by Jason Aaron and Kafu. Cover A is by Ahmad Asrar. Cover B is the Nakayama 2020 variant, and cover C is the Venom Island variant. Last book for Marvel, and the last book of this week is X-Force number 3 by Ben Percy and Joshua Cassara. And I believe Jean Grey will most likely bring Professor X back to life. And that's it for the books this week. For our covers of the week, we're going to go with Ruby number 3, the Art Germ cover, the Immortal Hulk 28, the Dale Keown 2020 cover, Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality number 1, the Arthur Adams cover, and the Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality Marco Cicchetto variant, which is a rip from Spider-Man 100, I believe. As for the books of the week, I will lead off with one of my favorites, Batman Curse of the White Knight, number 5, all done by Sean Murphy. The Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child, got to give Frank Miller some love. And Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality, number 1, since the first Symbiote Spider-Man did so well, that is definitely a must-have, must-read book of the week. And Lucy Clare Redemption, number 1, all done by John Upchurch. And of course, the book of the week goes to Kevin Eastman's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 100. All right, people, we hope we are not too late. Buy those books, read those books, and love those books. And I will catch you at the same bad time, at the same bad channel. Peace.